What's up, running fam? This is Matt Resendiz, the Northwest Side Runner. Welcome back into the channel. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my spring 2020 training and how I had to change it up a little bit. For those of you who may be new to the channel, first of all, welcome in. Thanks for watching. This channel is dedicated to running outdoors, shoes, and Orangetheory fitness. So if you like what you see, make sure you go back and look at the previous videos. And if you like it that much more, please don't forget to subscribe. As mentioned, today I'm going to talk a little bit about my spring 2020 journey, from how I had to change it up a little bit to how it would normally be. And I know for many of us runners, running in the spring, it's go time. We have races we all look forward to, and we usually try and set ourselves up for summer training. So usually I would base my spring training off my last big event, and the start of 2020 was kind of epic. I trained to run a 50 miler, which I completed in early March, so right before COVID-19 started here in the US. I ran a 50 miler. It was the first weekend of March. Ran from Chicago all the way up to Kenosha, Wisconsin, 50 miles one way, and that was my last big event. And I was really torn with how I wanted to attack the spring because my body had taken a toll and I had never ran 50 miles before, so I was kind of going back and forth on what I wanted to do. And then a few weeks after the 50-mile run was the Shamrock Shuffle, and that got canceled. So I kind of just scrapped all plans that I had for the spring and decided to change my routine up a lot from what it would normally be from springs past. My normal spring training would usually consist of me running outside 2 to 3 times a week, doing one long run on the weekend, and I probably hit Orangetheory up at least 3 times, maybe 4 times during the week. So once COVID started, obviously Orangetheory had shut down. My last Orangetheory workout was, I think, March 16th. And they also had closed down the next day when schools and other things closed here in Chicago. As things began to shut down and close, the next big event would be the Shamrock Shuffle here in Chicago. That was going to take place in late March, and I was kind of weary about whether or not it would go on. So I kind of attacked those 2 midweeks of March with my normal running plan, and I realized that the amount I wanted to run outside with not having Orangetheory and the effort I was giving was way too much. So I kind of scaled back a bit, and the next thing I knew, the Shamrock Shuffle was canceled. Again, I was thinking to myself, well, I don't really have to be exerting all the effort that I normally would, so I'm definitely going to change up how I'm going to do this throughout the rest of the spring. So for those of you who have noticed, I do wear a foot pod on my shoe. It's that little black thing that's on my right shoe normally, and that measures power output. So I've been running by power. I haven't been training by power, but I decided that I would want to try training exclusively by power because I've read and heard all of the success stories of people who train exclusively by power. So I decided to give myself a critical power test, and critical power is the threshold at which the dominant type of fatigue your body experience changes. So I've been using Stride's auto-calculated critical power, and the thing with that is that it was including my Orangetheory runs, which were a lot harder and more difficult, along with my outdoor runs, which, you know, the power intensity is always a lot lower. So I did a manual power test, critical power test, to see where I was at. Once that was completed, my critical power dropped a lot. Not a lot, but a significant amount, to where my power zones changed. And so I decided once that changed, I was going to use a power-based plan to increase volume, running volume, so the amount of mileage I would run in a week, and to build that up to have a new base volume. So I was training to build my base volume to be higher than what it normally would be. And that volume would be 60 miles per week. And I'm happy to say that I completed all 10 weeks of the plan injury-free. I hit all the distances that was asked. There were some runs that required different types of power levels. So hitting those power levels throughout that was very, very rewarding and self-gratifying. And if you take a look on the screen here, the first week of the 23rd, 38 miles, and it was just a steady increase from there. 44 miles, 48 miles, 50 miles, 52.7 miles, 54.8 miles, 56.8 miles, 56.8 miles, 60.1, and finishing with 65 miles this past Sunday. So now with having completed this and assuming that many more races throughout the summer are going to be canceled, and even into the fall are going to be canceled, how I'm going to adjust my summer training is starting tomorrow, which is Tuesday. I'm going to run a new CP test to see if my power threshold has increased or not. I really enjoyed this plan, and the runs I mentioned in a previous video were very easy for what I was used to running. So being able to increase the amount of miles I run per week and being able to do so safely was very, very rewarding to me. And I've always said before that running easier paces, keeping your heart rate down for longer periods of time helps the heart become stronger. So I'm hoping that when I take the CP test again, that running harder for a 3-minute effort and a 10-minute effort will feel a lot easier than the last time in which I took the test. So that's how I had to change up my spring training. What are some of the ways that you guys had to change up your training? What were some goals that you guys might have hit over the spring? What are some goals that you might have missed that were on your list of goals for the spring? Comment down below and we could chat about it in the comments. And I know that right now it's been a super weird time in the world, in the country, and my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone's families who were involved in the events that transpired over the last week and a half. I don't want to say the wrong things, but I do support with the protesting, but I'm hoping that things start to wind down a bit, because I do think that everyone is allowed to protest for what they believe in, and doing so in a safe way. That should be at the forefront, and hopefully those things start to take a turn and we can start working back together and getting things done the way that people who are no longer here would want them to be. With that being said, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Chicago has been sort of in an uproar the last 3 days, and hearing things on social media and the news is, it's kind of alarming, but hopefully everyone out there is staying safe. Remember to take care of yourselves. You do you. This is Matt Resendiz, Northwest Side Runner. Talk to you guys soon.